welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel if you are already subscribed. My name is Taylor. I am a witch here on YouTube, and today we're doing something different. We are going to be doing ASMR, my tarot and oracle deck collection video. I'm so excited to show what I have because I collect these decks. I've had a lot of these decks for many years. Some of them are literally as new as this weekend, so I'm excited to show them off ASMR style. Please leave me a comment letting me know what your favorite deck of all of mine I have is. I'm so curious to know because I have my personal attachments to some of them, but I want to know what the average person like looks at it and they think, oh no, like I love this one instead. So I'm so excited. We are going to jump right into the collection. Okay, so we're going to start with just the classic tarot decks that everybody knows. Well, if you're into tarot, you know them. So the first one is the Rider-Waite deck. And I literally lost the box for this one. I actually don't find myself using this very much anymore as I have more decks. It's actually, I think I leaked a pen on it or something. I used to carry this one around with me in my bag because I'm sure it's not surprising to know that people ask me for tarot readings when I'm at like social gatherings or stuff like that sometimes. And this is just the classic Rider-Waite deck, and I think this is like the pocket-sized edition. But I like this deck. I mean, it is the classic for a reason and inspires every other deck. So I do find myself liking it, the art and the inspiration of it. I mean, it's the baseline for every other version of it, so I appreciate what it has done for the tarot community as a whole. Next we have the Sloth deck by Aleister Crowley. I love this deck. I love that it is a little bit different than the Rider-Waite deck because this is based off of and created by Aleister Crowley and magic in general. So where we would have the suites, this is the Nine of Swords. He gave them different names. So this Nine of Swords is the card of cruelty, the Four of Cups being the card of luxury, the Princess of Discs instead of Pentacles, the Ten of Swords being the card of ruin, Princess of Cups, let me see what else, Queen of Cups, Prince of Cups. I like this deck a lot, and actually now that I'm looking at it, I like low-key want to incorporate this more in readings because I do really like it. I like that it's different. I like that it's based heavily on the occult in general and Aleister Crowley's practices and things like that. So I do like this deck, and I should reach for it more because I like the keywords that it has on the cards. I do think that this deck is a good deck for relative beginners or complete beginners because of the context words it has on each of the cards. I usually recommend that people start with the Rider-Waite deck. I didn't, but I recommend that most people do just so you understand like the basics and things like that. But I also think the Thoth deck is a really good beginner deck. So this deck is relatively new. I believe it's called the Mystic Tarot. My mom got me this one. She thrifted it for me from Goodwill, I think. And I like it a lot. I love the size of it. It's such a good size because it's hard for me to shuffle ones that are too big or too small like the pocket-sized Rider-Waite deck. But this deck I enjoy because it's just the right size, which I know is a nitpicky thing to say, but it's true. And this deck itself is inspired by different mythological stories, and I really appreciate that. It has a guidebook with it as well that I don't have out here with me, but it goes in such depth with the different stories being represented on each of the cards, and I find that really helpful for reading in general. This is definitely a deck I use only for my personal readings. I think I've used it in like one reading on my channel, but when I first got it, and I kind of feel this way now as well, I just feel connected to this deck in a way where I want it to belong to just me, if that makes sense, and me and my energy, because reading about the different cards kind of gives you even like a deeper layer of insight, as you can see like which figureheads in the stories that you relate to and things like that. So I do really like this deck, and if you're into mythology or anything like that, I think that you would like this deck as well. Moving on into probably two of my least favorite decks that I own, just because of they're from Temu, because I wanted to see how the quality would be, things like that, and I definitely don't support Temu as a company or anything, so I feel kind of weird about using this deck. I also don't really like the dark imagery on these. Oh, I forgot to say this is the Occult Tarot. I don't really like these that much, but I do collect these, so it is nice to be able to see different imagery and different depictions of the different cards in the tarot deck, because these also give like a little description of the figurehead that is representing each of the cards, and then what that figurehead represents. But I just find myself not reaching for these very often because of the size of them, and I just don't feel very connected to this deck in general. But if you're into this sort of imagery, if you're into this like red and black aesthetic, if you're into the occult like in general, I think that this might be an interesting deck for you, but I am not the biggest fan of this one. Next we have the Lost Unicorn Tarot. I love this movie. When I was a kid, I felt really connected to it, so I definitely wanted to get this deck when I saw it. And if I find the actual version of it, not from Temu, I might go ahead and get it, because, like I said, I do really like this movie, and I felt really connected to it as a kid. Some of the cards are really pretty, but you can just tell that this is a copyrighted deck. It's one that is, I don't even know like exactly how to describe it. Copyrighted is good, and they stole like the images, which I didn't know at the time of purchasing it. And so I don't see myself ever like reaching for this deck, but nevertheless it is in my collection. So if I have somebody over that expresses interest in tarot or anything like that, I would probably give them this deck if they wanted it, just because if I'm not going to use something, I would rather somebody else use it. But other than that, what to say about this deck? I like this movie, so I like the imagery of it, I like the message of the movie, but I can't, oh look at this one, it's so cute. I can't recommend you to buy it because I don't support the creation of copywritten decks. So there is that one. What else do we have? Okay. The Deviant Moon Tarot. Deviant Moon Tarot, and the box absolutely rips to pieces. Okay. This deck I got on vacation in Sedona a couple of years ago. I love the size of it. It's so good. They're like just the right parts of skinny and of like length. And I like the imagery on these cards too. It's really creepy, very creative. I find myself reaching for this deck a lot. If you watch my readings, you've seen it a lot. I like the personality of this deck. It's very much so in your face. It's very much so directly to the point, not trying to spare any sort of feelings. And I just really enjoyed that about it. I think, like I said, the imagery on it is beautiful. And you should definitely, if you're looking for a tarot deck that's kind of like creepy and also like direct, if yours would end up being like mine is. It's definitely direct, and it doesn't have like a creepy vibe to it in actuality, but the artwork on it is kind of meant to be disturbing in a way, and that's something that I really enjoy and like about this deck. So I do highly recommend this one. Next, I have the Cosmic Slumber Tarot. I think this deck is great. My best friend got me this a couple of years ago. It has an amazing box, which I always appreciate. Comes with a good book as well, so I think that this is a good one for semi-beginners as well because of those features. I like the glossiness of the cards. The artwork themselves is beautiful. It's super vibrant and colorful, and I really enjoy the way that the artwork is depicted of each of the cards in this deck. And the reason it's called the Cosmic Slumber Tarot is because this is supposed to be very dream-like, surrealist in a way, like the universe taking a slumber. So I appreciate the artistic direction of this deck, and I do find myself using this one quite a lot. Okay, next up we have another deck that was gifted to me by one of my best friends. This is the Halloween Tarot. That box is long since retired. I love this deck so much. I use it all the time. It's Halloween themed, obviously. And I enjoy the simplicity of the pictures in their continuity with the Rider-Waite deck, but with the own creative spin of making it spooky Halloween. It's like spooky cute, which I really appreciate. And I find myself reaching for this deck all of the time. If you love Halloween, I highly recommend this deck. I'm sure just Google Halloween Tarot and you'll be able to find it. But I really love this deck. I feel very connected to it. I've had it for a couple of years. And all the cards are just colorful and unique, and they have a very, like, if Tim Burton was like a psychedelic experience, and almost Alice in Wonderland feel to them, I feel like. So I enjoy all those aspects about them. Okay, next we have the Marble Tarot deck. This was also a gift from my friend David. Thanks, David. We appreciate you. It comes with a guidebook, which is helpful for my beginners. And the cards themselves I really like. This is another deck that I do reach for, I'd say fairly often. I wish that this is my biggest beef with franchises doing any sort of tarot deck, because they just get lazy with the sweets cards because they don't want to put in effort into thinking of what to put on there. So I don't like that the sweets cards are just, they seem like an afterthought, but I love, 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 love that not only the MCU characters are featured, but also the Marvel characters from the comics. So if you like Marvel, I think that this is a good deck to consider getting, because there's a bunch of characters featured on them, and I appreciate that it's not just the A-Team Avengers. I love that they have Doctor Strange and the Magician too. It's so fitting. Spider-Man should also not be on just the Page of Cups. I feel like Spider-Man is more important than that, but all of these critiques are just sort of superficial. But my only one critique for this deck, like I said, is just they seem like an afterthought, the sweets cards, because there's no real continuity to any of them. They're just like, oh, throw whatever on it. So overall, I do love this deck though. I'd give it like a 6.5 out of 10 if I had to. And finally, we have my last tarot deck as of right now. Finally, we have the Garbage Pail Kids tarot deck. I just got this one over the weekend. My aunt bought it for me. Thank you. I appreciate you. Ooh, doing the slow pull. Okay. I love the box. I'm a sucker for the box. There is a guidebook that comes with it that I have not. Oh, yeah, this looks like we put a lot of effort into this actually. Look how cute. Love. Yeah, this deck is really nice. I am definitely going to be using this deck a lot in future readings on my channel because I love Garbage Pail Kids and I love the artwork on these cards. They're so good. So this deck had the opposite problem of, it's not even a problem, I don't want to call it a problem, but how I just said the Marvel deck annoys me because franchises will often use tarot decks as like a cash grab and then not know what artwork to put on the cards. This deck does not do that. This deck does a really good job getting creative with the different suites and not using the artwork as an afterthought. You can tell that a lot of effort actually went into these cards. And I really appreciate that. I love spooky cute things and creepy cute things, and this is the ultimate expression of things that I think are creepy and cute. So definitely this deck is going to be, depending on when I post this video, there might already be a reading on my channel using this deck, but if not, it will be very, very soon. So that is all of my tarot decks. We're going to move into the Oracle now. Okay, I have a crazy amount of Oracle decks, so I'm going to try to go through this relatively quickly so it's not a 45-minute long video. But this is my Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle. I love this deck. I have 3 decks in this. I think it's like, what should I call it? Like a collection of decks, the Season of the Witch, but I want to get the rest of them so it's like a whole set. But these decks are just beautiful. I'm obsessed with them. It has like this nice foil on the side. It used to be green, but I've used it so much that it's worn off. But this is obviously the wintertime Yule themed one, so the images on it are very wintertime, but I love the artwork on these so much. It's like really nice watercolors. The vibes are just so good. Like I feel like you can smell I was gonna say oak tree. I can smell like the pine needles and like the cinnamon of like Christmas. It's such a good vibe. I love like Christmas and Yuletide so much. It's like my favorite time of year. So I love this deck. I can't recommend it enough. And the guidebook it comes with too is so in-depth about each of the cards. It gives also suggestions in there about what you could do to conquer this problem, what you could do to maximize this energy, things like that. So I really love this deck. On the same note, we have the Mabon Seasons of the Witch Oracle. I love this one as well. I think this is my newest one. I got all of these from Barnes & Noble, but I know that they're available on Amazon as well. So again, same fashion of, ooh, this one has actual like spells in it too. I don't know if the Yule one does, but this offers I think the Eagle one does actually, but some release things, stuff like that. Like this is really good if you're somebody who identifies with practicing like witchcraft. This is a good oracle deck for you, any of these. This similar in the sense of having that orange, what is this called? Oh my god. Orange foil? We're just gonna say foiling. But these vibes are obviously like related to fall, and I love fall. I just keep saying this is my favorite season. Every season is my favorite season. So Aries, it's so good. Look at this card. It's so beautiful. I love it. But all the decks are wonderful. They are illustrated by, and I'm looking at them now. Some of them are illustrated by different people. They are by the same person, but they're illustrated by different people. So I just appreciate supporting artists in that way, and the different types of artwork that can be born from the different themes. Really gorgeous. So again, highly recommend buying any of these seasons of the Witch Oracle decks. I have one more to show you. I think that there are probably 6 in total if I had to guess. I'm not 100% sure. I would like to get the Midsommar one because my birthday is during Midsommar, and so it has a special connection to me. This is the Samhain deck. This is the first one I got. It has red foiling, and it's a little bit darker than the Mabon one because Mabon is about autumn and the equinox, and this is about Samhain, which is Halloween. I love it. Oh my gosh, this deck is amazing. If I had to recommend one to get out of all 3, I would go with this one just because I like the artwork on these cards the best. Yeah, I love these. And same thing with the guidebook, more spells, and this one even goes in depth into different herbs and stuff that you can use, and it tells you about what it means in reverse. I love it. It's so good. So out of all my oracle decks, those 3 are, that's it. We're starting off really strong with those as the top 3. And actually we're going to continue doing my favorites first, I guess, because this one out of all of my decks is probably my all-time favorite. I can't even lie. This is an amazing deck. I also got this one from Barnes & Noble. It is fantastic. I love this in every way. So you're able to do so many things with this deck. It comes with a guidebook, which if you're trying to learn tarot and astrology in general, astrology especially with this deck, this is a great oracle deck for you to get because it talks about the different points in the chart. It talks about the different planets, the different signs and what they stand for. And also you can use this deck as a visual representation of your birth chart. So let me show an example. Say you have your sun is in Cancer in the 5th house. Then you could say, because this deck also has the different aspects, let me find one. Oh, here we go. You can say it's an opposition. So sun in Cancer in the 5th house in opposition to Jupiter, Taurus, in the, this isn't exactly how it would be, but just use this as an example, whatever it is for you. Jupiter and Taurus in the 8th house, and you could ideally, if you weren't filming, lay this out and like really understand your birth chart visually because you're able to like move it around and mess with it. So you're able to do that with it. So I think it's great for that. But you're also just, you can use it like an oracle deck like I do in my readings. I love this deck because it is straight across and to the point. It gives you a much better idea of the themes going on in your own life or if you're a reader in somebody else's life. there's not enough words in the English language to describe how much I really love this deck, and I can't recommend it enough. So it's going to be hard competition to keep up with as we move along into some of these other decks, because I have a million oracle decks. Okay, moving on with this Magic of Marvel oracle. Oh, I took the lid off. This is what the lid looks like. This came from Amazon actually, I think. I do like this deck because I'm a Marvel girly through and through. But there's not enough cards in this deck for me that to really make it like worth it if I was going to recommend purchasing. But that said, I do love that there is such a diversity in the characters on these decks. It's not just MCU, it's very much so all over the map of the characters from the comics. And they're just, I think that these oracles cards are best used in addition to other decks in a reading. So if you wanted to do like an add-on card, or if I was going to do a bigger card, I would say like pick one of these oracle cards that represents your energy right now as more of an overview of the different messages, not so much diving super deep. They even have anime, but diving super deep into different things. But overall, I do like this one. It's just not my favorite. Okay. Moving on to the Mystic Martian Oracle. I like this deck a lot. I used to use it all the time, but I just kind of, I don't know, stepped back from it a little bit. If you're somebody who's a very like new agey star seedy person, I think that this would be a really good deck for you. It comes with a nice guidebook, and I really do love the artwork on these cards. They're fantastic. And they feel really good in your hand too. They're good material. There's no reason in particular I don't find myself reaching for these that often. It's just because, I don't know, like I've gotten different decks, and I think I was really in an alien era when I was using these decks a lot. But I really like them. I highly recommend them. I would say that this is definitely in like my top 10 of my favorite oracle decks. Oh, that was loud, sorry. Now we have an old reliable that you have probably seen on YouTube before if you follow lots of tarot witchy channels, the Moonology deck. I do like this deck, and again, like this is more same note as the Marvel deck for me. This is more of an add-on deck. Like it's something that I wouldn't trust to stand up by itself in a reading, but one that instead I would use as like additional energies to pull a card or two. But I do like this deck. I think it's useful. I also like fell into the hype with this deck. That's why I ended up getting it. But yeah, it's nice. I don't think it's anything super special, but I like using it as an add-on, like I said. And I like having options with oracle decks where I have the flexibility to jump around and grab different things if I want to grab them. Okay, this next deck is sort of near and dear to my heart because I made it a couple years ago. It is by me. So I'm excited to show because this is the only one of its kind that exists, because I ordered it, I think, from like makeplayingcards.com, something like that, and it's not very well done. I never use it, but I used pictures from NASA's image database to from NASA's image database to get the pictures for this deck. And it's funny because as I'm going through like my other decks, like reviewing them, I realized that I committed all of my Oracle deck sins. It doesn't have a guidebook, it doesn't have descriptions on the cards, but nonetheless, like, I think that this was a good first creation for me, and it's something that I had a lot of fun with doing, and picking out the pictures and the cards that I wanted, because it's pretty. But I never reach for this deck. This is just one that I'll always hold on to because it's something that I created just for the sake of creation, and I think that that is really important and special. Next we have the Journey to the Goddess Realm Oracle deck. This is the first Oracle deck I ever purchased. I never really use this deck anymore just because the cards are too big for my hands, honestly. And I feel like I have like pretty big hands, but it's really awkward and hard to shuffle these. But that said, I love this deck, and I think I'm going to use it more because it has different goddesses from different religions, different mythologies, and I really appreciate the depictions on these cards. It comes with a guidebook as well to tell you what each of these goddesses represent. I used to use a lot of the time when I would build like a temporary altar for a specific goddess, given like the energy that was going on or what I was trying to call into my life. I would use these cards to, let's hide that my squirrel. I would use these cards as like a picture, but I like them. I think that this is a good deck, and it was a good deck, I think, for me as a beginner as well, because it's not too confusing. It's to the point. It's using that archetypal energy that I love so much. This is a deck I bought a couple of years ago. I don't really use this deck anymore. I think I've used it in like a couple of readings on here, but I think that it's interesting. I bought it because it's a different like shape than other decks that I have, which I know sounds kind of stupid, but I really like when Oracle cards do something different. So this is the guidebook that it comes with, and the cards themselves are very cool, very much new agey, kind of like geometric patterns. Very like, it's giving DMT vibes. Like psychedelic art. Yeah, but I like them. I just don't. This is a deck that I would definitely give away to somebody in my life if they wanted it. Maybe let me know if I should do a giveaway of decks I don't use on this channel, because I will totally do that, because this is one that I think there's nothing like wrong with it, but I don't really use it because I just don't feel very connected to it. I like this card a lot though with the, what's that called? This part of life. So yeah, my review of this one is there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't really find myself ever wanting to use it. So if you want to give away to win this deck or any of the other decks I don't use, let me know if I should do that in a future video, because I totally will. Okay, next we have the Heart's Hidden Secrets Oracle deck. I really like this one. I actually also got this from Temu. Boo Temu, don't order it from Temu. It is by this manufacturer. If you're interested in purchasing it, I wouldn't recommend getting it from Temu, but who am I to tell you what to do with your money, because I've ordered it from Temu myself. But I like this box. I think it's really good. It does not come with a guidebook, but I don't think that's a big deal because the cards themselves are very to the point. They give one overall theme and then some keywords for you to be disconcerting about what it means for you. So I like this deck a lot. If you've watched my videos, you know that I use this deck all the time to get an overarching energy of what's going on. I like this deck in particular for love readings because Though I've used it for other things, I do kind of feel like she's a one-trick pony because every time I use it in readings that aren't related to love, I'm always picking up on somebody coming through about love, like an ex or whoever it is. But so this deck is really like, and I mean, it makes sense, right? It's called Hearts, Hidden Secrets. But this deck is really fine-tuned to love readings, and I think that's when it's at its best. But overall, I really like this deck. I think that it is very good. Next, we have the Wild Goddess Oracle. This is the book it comes with. It's giant, and for that reason alone, I don't like it because it's awkward and hard to store. Because the cards themselves do not come with a box. They came like packaged, I think, like that. But I do like these cards a lot. They are obviously different goddess depictions. No goddesses like in particular, but instead like archetypes of goddesses. And I don't find myself reaching for this deck very often, but when I use it, I do like it. Because the artwork is very like surrealist and kind of looks like they're like collages, which I really appreciate. And yeah, they're just really interesting. I don't know if I would recommend getting this deck. Oh, I love this one. This is so pretty. I don't know how much I would recommend getting this one. I do like it, but it's not like my favorite of all time. And even though like there is a guidebook, which I usually like, I feel it's so like awkwardly large. But then again, like it does have different spread ideas and stuff. So if you're somebody who's new to reading tarot or oracle, it would be a good idea for you to have those like spread inspirations. But I just am not a fan of how it is. It's not very practical, and I like when things are more practical. So the next deck is also called like a wild thing. I love this one. It's called The Wild Unknown Archetypes. I got this one from Barnes & Noble. You know, this does commit the same sin I was just talking about, where it has a guidebook that is way too big. However, this guidebook is literally a book. It is amazing. I cannot recommend, this is my second favorite, okay, of all time. I cannot recommend this deck enough. It's literally amazing. I've had it for a couple of years. This deck is based off of Jungian, Carl Jung, Jungian psychology and different archetypes. I am a psych girly, so I appreciate that. I particularly like Jungian therapy and techniques, so I appreciate this deck a lot for those reasons. But it also, look at this, it's a little pearl. So I like that it is circle shaped. It does make it a pain in the ass to shuffle. However, there are so many things I like about this deck, I do not care. The mirror, look at these. So how it works like in the actual guidebook, let's take a peek really quick. I don't remember exactly. It has like a who, what, when vibes. So it'll have like who, and then it'll be like an archetype like the king, and then it'll be like where, the forest, and what, the offering. So there's 3 different sections. There's 4 actually different sections. Those are the 3, and the 4th section is about like universal energy. So let me see if I can find that here. This is perfect. So it'll be something like gnosis or like agape, which is like universal love. And gnosis is about I'm totally blanking on what it is, but I really enjoy this deck because of, I don't know, how much work and love into this. You can like really feel it. So I highly recommend getting this one if you're looking for a good oracle deck that is worth your money. This one is definitely worth the money. It's worth like every penny I paid for it. I don't remember how much it was. I think it was like maybe around like 30, 35, and it is really worth it. I love this one. Okay, moving on to these came from an Etsy shop called Total Divine. I have 3 of them, and I think I'm actually just going to show them to you all at once because they're pretty simple. I like these cards a lot because of they're meant to really be like add-ons or like quick messages. This deck is the I think it's like Shadow Side or like Triggers deck, and it goes into like what is happening and like what is being triggered. So there's like vengeful, quarrelsome, narrow-minded, insecurity. I think these are good for keeping yourself or the person that you're reading for in check. I really enjoy those. This shop has a ton of decks just like this, and I think I'm actually going to go ahead and take a look and see what other ones they have on there, because I do enjoy the pocket size this of them, and how simple the messages are. So these are timing cards. I don't use these very often, but again, I really like these. Simple, straight up to the point. And then finally, this one is, I think these are like messages from spirit. So I like these as like, if you're going to pull one like daily, I think this would be a good deck for that. Yeah, you're not giving yourself enough self-love. Your body needs more positive action. Yeah, stuff like that. You've been thinking about it, understanding these thoughts is gaining momentum. Yeah, I love these. So these are good for like dailies, and I would say these other decks are good for like just add-ons. Okay. Now we have the Archangel Michael Oracle. I love Archangel Michael a lot. That's like my boy, okay? I feel really connected to Archangel Michael. I always have, and I feel, yeah, I just feel very connected to that energy, that protection energy that he provides. So with that said, I bought these so I can kind of like honor him in that way. And I like these a lot. So these give you like prayers to Archangel Michael and just like suggestions like go here now, eternal love, self-respect, favorable outcome, forgive yourself, shield yourself, your home is protected by angels, just things like that. I like this deck. This is more, I don't use this one that much in my readings. I have before, but again, this is more of like a personal deck for me because of like my connection to that. But I know that some of my viewers as well may feel connected to Archangel Michael. So because of that, I won't make it like exclusive to only like me using it, but I just feel I bring it out when it needs to be brought out, and other than that, I don't really. This deck I really like. This is the Alice in Wonderland. I just call her Allison. Alice in Wonderland Oracle. This is super cute. This has a real Melanie Martinez type vibe to it. So yeah, I just love the art on these cards. It's really cute and creepy and sort of like, they look like LOL dolls to me. I like this deck a lot. If you love Alice in Wonderland, this is a good one for you. Very cute. Okay, this is a relatively new deck that my family got me while they were in Scotland. So it is the Runes Oracle. I haven't had a chance to use this deck yet, but looking through it, it just has, and honestly, I don't know how much I'm going to actually be using this deck. But my family got it more for me because it's like a collectible. So I don't know the runes that well, and actually after this I'm going to show you, we're going to finish off this video by showing like the different like divination items I have. I have a bag of runes. I don't read runes. I have in the past, just not very well, very beginner-esque reading runes. But so I don't know how often I'll actually use this, but I do like them. and I appreciate, oh my gosh, there is every booby in the world showing itself. But I appreciate my family for thinking about me. Okay. This is from my mom. Thanks, Mom. I love these. I need to bring these back. I used to use these a lot more on here and just in my like daily life, but I don't so much anymore. This is an affirmation card. Each of them, I'm honest about how I feel, I'm comfortable sharing what's important, and I like them because they are correlated to the different chakras, and I like that they are centered around different energy that you need to hear for each day. So this is again like a good daily pull deck, and this is called Affirmation Cards for the Best Day Every Day. It's by a therapist, Alyssa Mertel. She's also a holistic health coach and a yoga instructor, so we love that. Yeah, this deck is really, I think it's perfect for people who don't even read tarot, for therapists or teachers working with children or even adults. I think that this is a really good way to get some of that positive energy across to them. And finally, the last oracle deck is this one. This is from Sedona. I got it when I was there. I love the pouch it comes in. Not enough decks come in pouches. Please make more decks in pouches. This is the Sedona